Aloha, everybody. Welcome back. This is Mark Jason, MJ, and I want to bring on my partner in crime, Gio. And today's topic we'll talk about your purpose or your why. Essentially, why do you want to become a barber in the first place? That's what this whole channel and project is about: is growing in the trade, or as a craftsman or a tradesman or tradeswoman in barbering from start to finish. But why do you want to start in the first place? That's something very important that you need to ask yourself and identify with the reality of, is this something you really want to truly pursue as a career, as a way of life, or is it something merely as a hobby that you see kind of cool on Instagram or on YouTube videos? So let me bring my buddy on, also my brother Gio.
I had
Um,
school and I had my books and I had my techniques and stuff, but I still had to uh, evolve that in my own cutting and in my own learning
yeah,
process, right? My favorite quote was from my teacher at school. He always said like to me like, "Hey man, everything you learn here in school, forget it where you're at, where you're working, and everything you learn there, forget it when you go to school." And I always remember like, why is that? Because the whole
yeah.
thing is everything you learn in school is different in practical, and everything you
Oh, yeah,
learn in a
yeah,
barbershop is
yeah,
different in
yeah,
school. But you
yeah,
have to start at the basic first. Why, what,
yeah,
and how. But
yeah,
before you know that all, you have to have a lot of hours. They always say like the 10,000 hours is like
right.
basic, a million is professional, what they now say a master barber, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
believe in that term
Mm,
from master barber because nobody
yeah,
is a master.
yeah,
But I think like with a lot of eye contact with your colleagues and people you see on the streets, because we didn't had a lot of things like YouTube, Instagram, and everything.
yeah,
I had to look with my own eyes, like, hey man, hey, that guy has that kind of haircut. How did they do
yeah,
that? You know? And then I just started fucking up my own people, my friends, my
yeah, yeah,
family,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Trying,
everything.
huh?
You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had to
Trial and
start
error.
something.
Trial and
I had to.
error.
I know I can do
Yeah,
that. You know,
yeah,
and I thought
yeah.
like I
Cut at
started
your own
first.
risk. Cut at your own risk. Yeah,
I just started clippering and coloring and everything, and I was
yeah.
like, "Oh my god, this is not how it end up." You know how the picture
You
was,
can't
or
replace that kind of. Yeah, you can't replace that kind of learning, right? Because
no, no,
for me, it was when I started this. I had no idea if there was money, what kind of money there was to be made as a barber.
yeah,
When
yeah,
I started the research looking into it, barber schools or cosmetology schools, there was never in my brainstorming when I was writing ideas down and what I wanted to do and why, and I had to, I used to, like you, I used to draw a lot as a kid. I thought I was going to grow up and be a cartoonist or Marvel comics. I used to always just draw Marvel
yeah.
characters.
I had that same thing, man. Yeah, I
And
loved it.
yeah. So when I went to college, it was supposed to be for a fine art degree, like design and stuff like that. But, I didn't have the background. I was intimidated when I went to college. I saw all the other kids and what they could do, and I got intimidated, so I changed it. Right. So when I decided to become a barber, I was like, okay, I want it to be artistic. I want it to be creative. I want to be able to dress the way that I want to be able to dress. I want to have like art around me and music playing and a very
Yeah,
casual atmosphere, but it was never like, but how much is it gonna make, right? And so, when I get asked this question of like, can I want to become a barber, but can it provide? Do you believe that I'll make a good living? And like everyone wants to take that first leap of faith to try something
yeah,
different, right? But the risk of like, am I gonna make enough, or will it do? And I think the bottom line comes down to, you're not gonna know till you try, right? And it's gonna be whatever you make of it. If you tried
exactly.
as hard
Yeah,
for somebody else and worked 40 hours or 50
yeah,
hours for
yeah,
an employer, if you work 50 hours for yourself, there's no way you should be able to fail. You could fail, right? And
yeah,
I never saw barbers in my before becoming a barber myself. I never saw barbers driving flash cars or
no,
wearing like flash clothes.
no, no,
Social media now shows a lot of what barbering is to many, right? And the lifestyle that some barbers are able to make for themselves. Uh, Hopefully, some of it's real. Some of it might be just smoke and mirrors, but
Yeah.
it's possible to be able to live a good lifestyle. But I don't think you can come in thinking that, like you said in the beginning, that you're going to get rich, you're going to be a millionaire. If you come in looking as a blue collar, I'll put in my work and I'll put in my time and I'll pay my dues and I'll go from apprentice to student to barber to
Yeah.
potentially shop owner to potentially a multiple shop owner. I mean, it's definitely possible, right? So,
Of course. Yeah, it is. The thing is with back in the day and now, because we didn't had no information from outside, from videos or from other
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
We had to also provide. When I had to learn, I had to also go to courses. And the courses that we did was a lot of money, man. And
mm,
I
mm,
think when you go to a course, you'll learn everything what that person has to teach. But when you get back home, you have to practice that, because otherwise the course doesn't mean a thing, right? You have to be always on top of the ball and on top of the game, so you have to practice, because it's simple as that. If you want to train, you have to train every day, right? And that's what I think what the old cats always did, because it's repetition, right? Everything you
yeah,
need to do. Memory
yeah,
muscle is
yeah,
repetition.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Things you want to learn, it's just repetition. And then everything comes in your automatic kind of pilot. And then as soon as it hits that kind of
yeah,
state, then okay, I know it a little bit. It's
yeah,
still, you
yeah.
still have to train that, but when it's
Yes.
automatically, then you already know, hey, I got this flow already. You still gotta like detail everything, but then the next thing comes and then you have to train
But that,
that
like, would you
again.
say, yeah, would you say, Gio, brother, that comes from you have to be self motivated and self driven to do those
Yeah.
things on your own,
Yeah.
right? Nobody's going to hold your hand necessarily
No.
to say, hey, I
No.
need to practice more. Oh, I need to do
No.
more. Oh, I need to work on things on my days off. I need to market myself. I mean, I think people don't actually see the behind the scenes
No.
of the Instagram things and the shops and the nice, whatever write ups people get is that, they all had to start somewhere. And majority of us started with no knowledge, no clientele.
No.
Most of us started at the bottom, and you have to chip away at it like any other business, like any other career.
Of
And I think
course.
there, it's easy to lose sight of like barbering is still a business. At the end of the day, it is still a business.
It
If
is.
you're not working hard, yeah, if you're not working hard enough, if you're not saving your money, if you're not managing your money, you could just fall in the same way at the job you're at now, at your
Exactly,
corporate
yeah.
job, 9 to 5. You still struggle and be unhappy, right? So,
Exactly, exactly. I
yeah,
think that's so mandatory that like what's coming. You never know what's gonna come, but you can
right, right, right.
calculate things, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knew what COVID was, and it
No.
came and it just like a lot of business went down, or they don't have no clients, people. But you have to counter in negative things. It doesn't matter what it is. You always have to have some saving monies,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
things where you possibly cannot think about. But it's always good to counter in some negative things,
yeah.
because you never know what life's gonna bring, right?
Of
But
course.
for
Yeah.
that, you need to work hard. And I think people nowadays, I think a lot, they don't want to do effort, a lot of
Mm,
effort. They learn
mm.
something and they think like, oh man, I went to that course, here's my sign that I did
Yeah.
it, and now
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know how to
Yeah.
do it. That's not the way it is. You have that sign that you have that basic of that course, and now it's the time you need to work on that.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
next thing comes. But you have to work on that. And people take things for granted, you know? You can never take
Yeah.
things for granted.
Yeah. We're definitely living a day and age where there's, they would call it like immediate gratification, right?
Yeah.
Or they want want something right away. They want to feel something with at least the minimal amount of investment and
Yeah.
just get the payoff as soon as possible, right?
They want to give it
Um,
like a golden
I
plate,
don't
right?
think that's yeah, yeah. That's not barbering. At least it's
No.
not to what you and I believe barbering is.
Yeah.
Barbering is it's a journey. That's why they call them journeymen, right? A journeyman or tradesman. You know,
Exactly.
you're in it for the long haul, and you're gonna start. Then you're gonna do like the most basic of stuff
Yeah,
until
man.
you get better. And then they move you up a little bit, and move you up a little, move
Exactly.
you up a little bit. You know.
Look at this simple thing. Did you watch the boxing Tyson? Tyson went.
I watched the highlights. Yeah,
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 you watched the highlights. So after that, there was
yeah,
a post conference, and he said something. Back in the day, I wanted to for that pop, 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 that knockout. First round knockout, pop, pop.
yeah,
Now he's evolved in time and in age, cause he's
yeah,
54,
yeah.
and now he said like, we train for the long haul. Why?
Yeah.
Cause I know if you are a good boxer, you have to have the full rounds with somebody. And now he's 54 and he did 8 rounds of 2 minutes, man. I don't even
Yeah,
I don't even think I could last one round, man. But 54 of age and go for the long haul, man, that's
yeah,
a long time, bro. And if a guy
yeah.
like that
I can't even do any physical activity for 2 minutes, and I'm tired already.
but if a guy like that that's here on top level can say like, yo,
Yeah,
now it's time to change my game up and
yeah,
do that that is growth. And
yeah,
I think that's the same thing for barbering and every other profession. You have to have that vision like, hey man, I want to grow further on in my career or in my life or whatever. And I think those are the best examples to see. Look at the pros, look at the guys, that's there for the long haul, man, and instead
oh
of
yeah,
for short money. Because short money
yeah.
never gonna survive, man.
No, you're never
Never.
gonna survive. I mentioned that when we were talking before we started up, and I was talking about barber school and how when I was there, I had a lot of people in there, and if you go around the room asking them why they wanted to become a barber,
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of the same story, like, oh, I've been so passionate about barbering,
yeah.
I'm so passionate. And I couldn't say I was passionate because I never did it before. I said, well, I'm not passionate about
Yeah.
something I haven't done yet, but maybe I've learned to be passionate about it. Maybe 3 months into it, those same people that were saying I'm passionate, don't even come to school anymore, right?
Yeah, man.
Like or they come late, or they don't do
Yeah,
what the
man.
instructor asks of them. So like if they're broken down already just by 3 months of school, how possibly can they become journeymen or women or tradespeople if they're gonna let
Exactly.
little school stuff throw them off their course, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
you
Yeah.
haven't even got to the point of building a clientele or
No.
sweeping the hair in a real shop versus sweeping the hair in your school, or even taking your exam, or you haven't experienced real failure yet as a barber.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I want people to know that, like, if you're gonna do this, like, it's not just it's not everything you see on Instagram where you wear nice clothes and have a lot of tattoos and some guys ride
No, no,
bikes.
no, 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 no.
It's not all of that. There's
It's hard
and
work, man.
even then, it's hard work to get to where well, at least where I know where you and I are at. We put in a lot of work,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
anyone
I
that
think
we've associated with over the years in this trade, they didn't get there overnight. They put in their hard work.
exactly. I think that's the same thing what I have. I saw a lot of people coming and going, and a lot of people did courses and beginners courses. And in the end, I see them passing by in my feed wherever, and they don't do the job no more. Why? Because the thing
Yeah,
is, they see it doesn't pay that well. You have to stand long hours, and it's like you have to put in so much effort to learn something, because it's not like you get a clipper, I know how to fade, and then the haircut. No, it's more than that. It's so time consuming, and wow, man, sometimes I think like, if I could show a little bit and pieces of the times that we have to do after work, because
yeah,
then the real job begins. Because if I
yeah,
work, that's not my
yeah,
work, that's my hobby. Yeah, and that's my
yeah.
passion, everything. And the thing is as well, if I always say to people, hey, I want to open a barbershop. I said, how long are you doing
Yeah.
barbering or cutting hair? Yeah, 2 years, 3 years or something. I always say like, yo, fill in that 5 year time. 5 years. 5 years. Just only 5 years. But those 5 years, if you manage to get that final step on 5 years, you're gonna
Yeah.
do it for 10 years. If you cannot make
Yeah.
it through the 5 years and in a healthy way, you don't gonna
Yeah.
make it, man. Because
Yeah.
you already know that after 5 years, I practically know this is the time that I can make my choice. Hey, this
Yeah.
5 years were cool, or these 5 years were, oh man, this is hard
Yeah.
work and this and that. But after that, you can always check out like, hey man, I had an enjoyable time for these 5 years, but I think it's time
Mhm.
for something else. But if you make that 5 years and you're still like humbled and you still have that fire in you, then
Yeah.
you practically know you're gonna make it for 10 years. And if you make that for 10 years, you can make it for 15 years. And I think it takes time. You have to
Yeah.
have you have to be able to give yourself time. Because it's Rome wasn't built in one day, right? And
Yeah.
neither is
Yeah.
this. Some things you'll
No.
learn during the road, and it takes 10 years, man.
Yeah.
After 10 years, I thought like, yo, man, now I just understand it. And sometimes I think like,
Mhm.
hey, why didn't I knew
Yeah.
that 6 years ago? Because I wasn't ready for that. Sometimes you have to be
Yeah.
ready
Yeah.
for the
Still
next
learning
step.
stuff. I'm still learning stuff. Yeah. I'm still always learning and still evolving and still
Yeah,
making mistakes, and adjusting the plan. But that's the part.
exactly,
That's part of, that's part of the
exactly.
process. That's part of being a tradesperson is trying never to cap out, always trying to improve and learn from people that just started. I mean, there's people that just started barbering now that probably some techniques to do something better than and faster and more efficient than what I've been doing over the years,
It
right? But
is.
yeah, it's
It
always something
is.
you learn.
There's always something. I even learn. Everybody's always like, hey man, is there something you can learn? I learn different things. I don't need to know every skill or every parting from somebody how he does it. No, I look with my eyes. I see what you do, but I know a way, that's a little bit faster. you know
And
but
they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? They say that, and I've always been like when I see the ring lights on Instagram or the barbers, like, what is this ring light stuff? And I was so against it, and now I have a ring light behind my laptop while we record. So
you
look,
know what I'm
I'm
saying?
learning, man.
Yeah,
I'm
but the thing
learning.
is,
Yeah.
that's
See?
that's the thing. We have to
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
with evolution, right? Because
Yeah, man.
I see some people. They ask me sometimes. I put my some videos from old what I learned from old cats, with a razor and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people are like, holy
Yeah.
shit, man! I never saw that before. What's the purpose of that? Why do you even do that? And then I explain why they do it, and then they think like, holy shit, I never heard of that before. No, because you never been in other barbershops. Open yourself up like, hey man, I'm Gio, I'm MJ. I want to look at your shop and see how you guys do. Is that possible? No, because everybody just looks on their phone or on a screen and say like, oh man, I can do that better. Yeah, but do you know why they do it? You know? And for me, it's kind of like, yeah, all the new stuff. I don't like filters and stuff. So every post that I make, everything is just like quick phone or picture. Sometimes I make it lighter, darker, but I don't fade out a fade. I'm an old school cat, man. I don't like
Yeah.
that. I don't like editing. Sometimes, hold up, but sometimes, when you have like a professional photo shoot, sometimes you have a profile, right? And you look at
Oh,
the
sure.
sides.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
when a picture comes and there's one hair sticking out, maybe
Yeah.
you can erase it, but still looks like natural. That's okay. But you cannot erase a whole fade into a fade, man, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
tricky because I don't like to lie to my customers or something because they come to the picture, yeah, I want to have this. And then you look in the mirror, but it's not the same. No, because you use filter over filter over filter, so it looks like that.
I mean,
So
yeah, but you think back of like the guys that did this like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago.
mm,
I mean, they weren't taking pictures of haircuts, and those old guys and those old gals would just come in, sit down, give you good service, give you a haircut. Haircut probably takes
exactly.
30 minutes. Might be the same haircut. They're all doing the same flat top or buzz, and off
Yeah,
they
man.
go, and
Yeah,
their life was fulfilled, and they still were able to live a decent life and provide for their family, go on some
exactly.
vacations. So,
That
and
is.
I mean, even now when I see these guys do like 5 minute ball fade, 5 minutes done. Then it takes me 5 minutes to put the drape on the customer still. He's not even sitting in my chair yet in 5 minutes. I'm like, holy cow, man.
Yeah,
So,
man.
but there's money to be made for all of us, right? At barbering,
Exactly.
there's a shop for everybody. There's a
Exactly.
clientele for everybody. I don't want every customer in
No.
California or in Berkeley, or I don't want them
No.
all. I
No.
just want enough to provide for me and my family and
Exactly.
some for my barbers. So
And
if you
that's the
go, and
thing.
I think as long as people come in knowing these things, what we've talked about here, and there's no magic formula or no magic drink like in Space Jam, the movie Space Jam with Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan. You can't drink the MJ special juice, man, and get big muscles or turn into a monster. It's like
Yeah.
you just gotta work. You just
Yeah,
have to work.
exactly, man. I always say like we're all cats, but I always think it's time for the younger generation to pass the torch on, right?
Yeah,
But I want to pass my torch on to people that really see why we do it,
yeah,
because my shop is built in a way I do it for the community, I do it for the people, I do it for my loved ones, yeah. And of course, if you want to be an Instagram barber and a famous barber, with
yeah,
with all the freaky stuff, hey, please do that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
also think about, like, hey, if I want to do this for the longevity
yeah.
and the long haul, you need to know, stay humble, man. Work harder. That's always my quote, and always been my quote. Like, yeah,
Always.
man. And I
Yeah,
think, like, if you are that kind of guy, be the nice guy. Don't be an a-hole. Just to be,
yeah,
hey, man, be on top. No, man.
yeah,
There's a lot of people that do those things where I think, like, no, man, this is not the way it should be.
yeah.
Because you learn from an old school cat from Dan, right? And he's still coming in your
Yes, yes,
shop.
oh
He's
yes.
still
Oh,
asking
he's still fun. Yeah,
advice.
he's still working. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I learned
Still
from a lot
learning.
of old guys, that I still work. Even my brother and sister, a lot of people don't know them, but my brother and sister are also hairdressers. My sister is a
Oh, nice.
she does coloring like one of the best. But yesterday she asked me, yeah, gee, do you do courses? I said, what you want to ask me, man? You want to learn from me or what?
Yeah,
It's gonna be a hard school, right?
yeah,
I'll whoop your ass, man. I said, no, no,
yeah.
no, 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 man. No, and those are the things that's nice because she also know. I know that I'm not a great haircutter. I said, you're a great haircut. Yeah, but not the way you do. I said, you cannot be the same as I do, but you can do your best. And if you want to learn from me, take 3 days off, learn from me, see how the shop rolls and how you do things. Probably you'll learn more with your eyes than when you do. That's what a lot of people don't know, eh? But if you're good looking and you look good at how people work and how people communicate, you learn the most of them all. Just write it down, put it on your phone instead of looking looking in other things
Well,
on
I
your
would
phone.
say that I think a good way to summarize like this video would be to say that it's not rocket science, right? And I know that people are looking for like, well, what's more? Like, there's got to be more. Like, I've been watching you two just video, and you guys didn't give me the secret. Like, there's no secret. It's just work hard, learn, be a student all the time, stay
Yep.
humble, right?
Yep.
Have your purpose, have your reasons on why you want to become it, but be realistic too to know that it's not an overnight success.
No.
It'll never be an overnight success story. That's not. This is barbering is not going to be the escape from your job that you hate
No.
expecting you're not gonna have to work as hard as you did at your job. Right? You still got to work as hard in barbering as you do wherever else you work. And if you can do that, and you can stay humble and know that it'll take some time to build, it can build and it can provide,
Yeah.
right? Um, because there's plenty of examples. You're an amazing one. I look up to you, like a said that many times, and I'm fortunate that
Thanks, man.
mine has provided for me, and the space has provided for some barbers too. So it can all be done, but um, if they follow some very simple instructions that we're going to be giving, and I think it's so simple that we have to reinforce it. Like, yeah, it's simple, but if you're not doing it, you're just not going to get there, right? So
Exactly.
um, I
Exactly.
think this series, this project, this channel, I think is great for us to be able to share two cats, two barbers, two old school dudes, or some old cats that have been at it for
Yeah,
a little
man.
while, that live on opposite ends of the world, but practice the same values even before we met on social
Exactly, man.
media, and we
Exactly.
can we can get to this point in our careers and we have similar, very similar results,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. This is dope, man. I kind of dig
which is
this
good,
kind of
man.
feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really
yeah,
love
man.
that.
It's a good one.
I hope you guys love the things that we talk about. If you got any
Yes,
topics or anything, please do comment and hashtag roots of barbering, because I think that's an important thing. So we see your questions and your topic as well. We can always look into it and try to do a topic on it or something. But we also
yeah,
know that we
love
both
to.
already have like a certain timeline that we want to build up in this channel. So probably the topics will pass on. But please do remember,
Yep.
subscribe, YouTube channel, here,
Thank you for tuning
Instagram
in,
channel.
everybody.
Yeah, man.
Also, thank you, brother. Thank you for this fellowship time together. I love you, bro.
Love you, bro, man. Thank you very much,
All
man.
right.
I'll see you soon, man.
I will see you soon, brother.
See you
Yes,
later.
sir.
Bye bye.